When I was trying to figure out what to do after college, I felt like I had two alternatives. The first alternative was music graduate school in a traditional environment, or perhaps to try to get into, for example, the opera field. And I loved opera and musical theater because of all of the storytelling that takes place. And I really discovered that I didn't particularly like the new music milieu, which tends to be a little bit insular, where I don't know, our professors are playing for the professors, or it felt like a very insular kind of group. And my earliest exposures to opera, I noticed that the audiences would go wild over it. I mean, they'd say bravo and they'd boo, and and so that really attracted me because it felt like here was an art form that the audience was really engaged. And so Robert Ward was able to contact the, I don't know, even more famous opera composer Carlisle Floyd, who was the co-director of the Houston Opera Studio, and said that, "Hey, I've got this student composer who plays the piano pretty well, by the way, and he is really interested in writing opera. And oh, by the way, he's interested in writing the texts too." And so Carlisle Floyd, as you know, is known for being a composer who is also a librettist with operas like Susanna and Mice and Men. And so they took me into the Houston Opera Studio training program to study with Carlisle, and then also to learn the operatic repertoire by being a coach, pianist, assistant conductor on the staff there. And literally, my first professional opera experience was Il Trovatore with Renata Scotto. So there I was, and I mean, I had never been involved in a professional production of any sort of opera, and there it was right away with that kind of level of thing, and it just overwhelmed me in a very positive way. Um, my lessons with Carlisle Floyd were frankly challenging. Um, Robert Ward was, a warm fatherly figure, and Carlisle was formidable. Carlisle would say things to me like, "Well, Michael, this is ridden with cliches. Don't you think you can come up with a better dramatic angle for this story?" I mean, and he would just pull no punches. And so my ego got chipped away, and I deserved it. I deserved it. I was, I'm sure I deserved it. And so, but what Carlisle taught me over the long term was really to try to avoid cliches, and to try to always make sure that your shows are interesting from moment to moment. And so I guess I may not be the most brilliant composer that one ever runs across, but my shows almost always work from moment to moment. And so it was incredibly valuable training. And after about 20 years or so, I recovered, and we were pretty good colleagues and friends for the last part of his life. But it took a while to recover from working with Carlisle Floyd. And after that year of working in Houston and deciding that maybe I'd had enough of Carlisle Floyd, I, applied to come over here to Miami and got a job on the staff working with Emerson Buckley and then Willie Waters and myself. And we were the music staff of the Greater Miami Opera Association, along with some other colleagues, for about 4 years. And it was a wonderful time to watch Buckley work. To this day, I think he influenced my work as a conductor. I don't use a baton. I think and Buckley did not use one. Buckley was Pavarotti's favorite conductor, so he had a tremendous reputation. He premiered the famous Ballad of Baby Doe. He premiered The Crucible. So he was a quite well-known and well-respected conductor. Although he did not have a very kind bedside manner. He was gruff, to say the least. And that's putting it mildly. Gruff. He was gruff, but he knew what he was doing, and it was a thrill to be around that period of time. Also, at that period of time, I met Cheryl Milnes, who is, of course, was the most famous baritone, American baritone for sure, of that era. And although we did not become fast friends at that point in time, to this day, he's remained a really important colleague and influence in my career, along with his wife, Maria Zuvas.